Hey, what up, YouTube? It's your boy Sean, aka Sean Knight 3000. What's going on with y'all out there? Anyway, I'm here at work, killing these rounds, and it is 5:07 a.m. So less than 2 hours left on my shift, and I will be headed home. As you can tell, it is another cold ass night here at the tail end, literally, of February, about to go into March. As a matter of fact, with it being past midnight, it is now officially March the 1st. So, another cold night, but not as cold as I thought it was going to be. We had a little bit of snow earlier. Probably depends on where you live. It's anywhere between half an inch to 2 inches. Hopefully when I get home, it'll be half an inch. You can just throw down a little bit of rock salt. You don't have to worry about doing a whole bunch of shoveling. Yeah, that's life in the Midwest. A lot of snow, a lot of shoveling. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about was something that I've been checking out on YouTube for the last maybe 4 or 5 years. Listening to people around, ESPN talk about it, different places like that. NFL expansion. The whole conversation about whether or not the NFL could, should, and would return to Los Angeles, California. And where else should they start looking to put NFL franchises? Also, whether or not, and this is just my opinion, whether or not the league should stop at 32 teams. Now, granted, the NFL is the largest sports organization as far as the number of teams that's out there of the 4 major sports in the U.S. Hey, bear in mind, I'm not up on international soccer and crap like that. I don't know. I don't like soccer, period. Or football, as you guys call it over there. I don't know anything about soccer. I don't follow it. So I don't know if you guys have 40 teams, 50 teams, 8 teams. I don't know. I'm just talking about in the continental U.S. The NFL is the biggest. They have 32 teams. Nobody else has 32 teams. Baseball, basketball, hockey. Nobody has 32 teams. Everybody's at 31 or 30 teams. So let's start first with who needs a franchise. Well, I don't live in LA. I'm not a resident. As a matter of fact, I've never even been to LA. So I'm not gonna come down hard on your city because I don't know LA well enough to come down on the city. But I do know this. In my lifetime, there have been 3 NFL franchises in the city of Los Angeles, or with the name Los Angeles in front of their name. Whether they played in the city of Los Angeles proper or not, it's like saying that the New York Giants and the New York Jets are in New York when they both play in East Rutherford, New Jersey. If I was the governor and the people of New Jersey, I'd demand that the NFL change the team to the New Jersey Giants and the New Jersey Jets, but that's just me. I mean, if you're playing in my state, you're going to bear our state's name. But that's just me. But 3 franchises in my lifetime, and all 3 franchises walked away for some reason or another, and it was usually over a stadium deal. And the people didn't really cry about it. I remember a few years back when the Chicago Bears were threatening to move to Gary, Indiana. People in Chicago were damn near on the verge of tearing the McCaskey family apart. Like, you're not going to move this team and keep calling yourself the Chicago Bears. I remember even Mayor Daley got in that. He insisted that if they do move outside of Chicago, they move to, at that time they were talking about moving to Gary, Indiana. You're not going to call yourself the Chicago Bears. He would actually sue the NFL to force them to change the name. You can call yourself the Gary Bears or the Indiana Bears or something, but you weren't going to call yourself the Chicago Bears. That's how up in arms people were about that here. And in the end, some sort of deal was worked out where Soldier Field was kind of renovated. And it was enough to keep the Chicago Bears in town. I can't imagine allowing a franchise that the people love to leave. And yet Los Angeles has allowed 3 teams to get up and leave. That's not even counting the San Diego Chargers, which happened before I was ever born. So technically, they've lost 4 franchises, but only 3 in my lifetime. But the NFL seems hell-bent on putting another franchise in LA. I think there are much more deserving cities for an NFL team. I mean, if you can lose 3 teams in 30 years, what does that say about your city? That football is not a huge priority. I understand being cash-strapped. I understand all of that. Hey, everybody is cash-strapped, and yet somehow, some way, cities and states come together and find a way to make it work. It shouldn't be that way. In my opinion, cities and taxpayers should not be paying for these brand new billion-dollar stadiums at the taxpayers' expense. I mean, the whole purpose of owning an NFL franchise is that you are a billionaire. Why can't you spend your billions to build your own damn stadium? I don't get that. I understand why they hold cities for hostage, because they can. And cities, and like I say, cities, counties, states come together and they get that money to keep that franchise in their city. NFL owners know that. The NFL knows that. That's why it's done. Other sports would try that. They'd probably get run out of town. Everybody wants an NFL franchise. LA has allowed 3 teams to leave. Yeah, I do think you guys deserve a team. I don't think you deserve to be on top of the list. Second thing I want to talk about, Chicago. When everybody's talking about expansion, our city is never ever in the conversation. Because people look at this and say, well, that's a Bears town. And they're right, in the same way that this is a Cubs town when it comes to baseball. Yet the White Sox do well here. I mean, they consistently draw 2 million people. They might not fill out the stadium every single Saturday or Sunday, you know, for a 4-game series against the Yankees or against the Toronto Blue Jays or something, but they're still making their money. They're still getting their money through television revenue, and they're still putting, you know, butts in the seats. So, yeah, they might complain that they're not, you know, selling out the way the Cubs are, even when the Cubs lose 100 games, you know, 3-4 years in a row. I'm not sure how many. But both teams are successful here in this city. And I'm thinking the same thing will be true of the NFL. And people that know me know that I am a lifetime Bear fan. I could never root for anybody else. But I would love to see a second NFL franchise here. And I would love to see it for a number of reasons. One, I know for a fact we can support a second team. No doubt. 2, I would hope and pray that whoever came in as the new owner of that team, or the owner of that team that relocated, figured enough that, okay, if I'm going to build a stadium of my own, it has to be a dome stadium. Because until we get a dome stadium, Chicago will never host a Super Bowl. And that's saying something when you consider that Detroit has had the Super Bowl a couple of times, Indianapolis has had the Super Bowl, but not Chicago. The Mecca of the Midwest has never hosted a Super Bowl game. That's blasphemous. It shouldn't be that way. But I can understand why the NFL will refuse to put a Super Bowl in Chicago. This got nothing to do with our infrastructure or anything like that. It's got to do with the fact that Soldier Field, despite the fact that it's the home of the Chicago Bears, it's an old-ass stadium. It's a rundown stadium, and it's the smallest stadium as far as seating is concerned in the entire NFL. the smallest venue in the NFL. It's old, it's run down, and it's small. Couple that with the fact that it's an outdoor stadium and it's a recipe for disaster. Not to say that an outdoor stadium can't host a Super Bowl, because the new stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, is going to host a Super Bowl, next year? So, and that's an outdoor stadium, no dome, no covering, nothing, just outdoors, in the elements, on the East Coast, in January. Good luck to the 80,000 people that's going to cram their asses into that joint. I hope you guys dress warm. You're a better lot than me. I'd be watching that motherfucker on TV, even if I was there and had tickets. I'm sorry. Woo-hoo. No. And the same thing can be said about a Super Bowl here in Chicago. It's not going to happen. As long as Soldier Field is the only venue in town where you can play such a game, it's not going to happen. Which is one of the reasons why I would hope that whoever would come in as the second owner would come in with the idea that they have to build a brand new stadium. Maybe a dome stadium, which would be better. Then the NFL would seriously look at Chicago as a major contender for a Super Bowl. Why? Because we have everything there is to offer. We have knowledgeable fans who are passionate about the game. This city has everything that you could offer anybody as far as coming to the Super Bowl. We have hotels galore. We have all the amenities, anything and everything you could possibly want to do during that week that you're here in Chicago for the Super Bowl. Everything is set for Chicago to host the Super Bowl, except for the fact that we have no place to host the Super Bowl. We have an old stadium, a small stadium, and an outdoor stadium. The triple threat of getting turned down. So what we need is a second owner to build a new stadium for his team or her team that the NFL can look at and say, hey, we can host a Super Bowl there. And like I said, Chicago would definitely be able to host a second team, would definitely love to host and love to have a second team. We could support a second team. In the beginning, yeah, the town is still going to be a Bears town. That's not going to change. But if the other team does well, trust me, the vast majority of people that follow football are band jumpers. They only jump on the bandwagon when the team is going good. That's when you see them break out the hats, break out the jerseys. Oh my God, I love this team. And you don't know a single damn player on it. You weren't around when the team was losing 10 or 11 games every year. But now that the team is doing good, you jump on the bandwagon. Those are the people that would pay good money to go to a game because they want to be there to be seen. So as long as the team is doing good, it would build up a fan base. Like anything, people love a winner. And if you create a winning football team here in Chicago, despite the fact that this is a Bears town, trust me, you will fill out your stadium. You put a Cubs caliber team on the field, you're not going to do so hot. It's just like that. And this is true anywhere. You put a bad team on the field and you're just not going to sell tickets. But you put a good team on the field, people will go to a game. People will support you. People will buy your jerseys and hats and all the other stuff that you got to sell. Next thing and the last thing I want to talk about, because I'm running out of time, is whether or not the NFL should expand beyond 32 teams. Can the NFL expand? Obviously, yeah. I mean, unless you're going to relocate a team or two to Los Angeles from somewhere else and you're stealing a team from somebody else's city, you're going to have to expand beyond 32. If that is going to be the case, why not let one of those expansion teams be a Chicago team? That's all I'm saying. I'm not, like I say, I don't think that LA should be excluded from having a team because they've lost 3 franchises, but Chicago should definitely be at the top of the list as far as the fans are going to be there. You know the fans are going to be knowledgeable, and you know they're going to be passionate about their team. That's all I'm saying. All right.